Sometimes you reach a point where life feels heavy. You wake up and the same worries greet you. Maybe you feel stuck in a job that doesn't excite you or in a routine that doesn't push you forward. You start to wonder if there's more to life or if this is all you'll ever do. Robert Greene teaches that this sense of being stuck can be a sign. It might mean you're ignoring your true path, or you haven't tapped into your deeper potential. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, treat it as a signal that it's time to explore new directions and apply what Greene calls the road to mastery. First, look back at your early interests or those moments when you felt genuine excitement. Greene suggests we all have a natural pull towards certain fields or activities, but over time, outside opinions, fears about money, or social pressure can lead us astray. You might have once felt drawn to music, writing, science, or helping others, yet you put that aside because it seemed unpractical. When you're stuck, that old interest can serve as a compass. That doesn't mean you must drop everything this moment, but you can start exploring how to incorporate more of that passion into your daily life. Even small steps can spark fresh energy. Maybe you set aside half an hour each day to revisit that lost pursuit or learn something that connects with it. Soon, you'll notice a change in your mood and motivation. When you feel trapped, you might assume the world has blocked you. Greene teaches that the real block often comes from within. You may have fear of failure or fear of looking silly if you change direction. You might also worry that you're too old or that it's too late. But one of the key lessons on the road to mastery is that time and background don't define you as much as your dedication does. If you start an apprenticeship, an intense focus on learning and practicing, there's always room for growth. The moment you adopt this mindset, you leave the path that goes nowhere and step onto the path that leads to self-improvement. During this period, Greene says you should accept the role of a student. That means letting go of your ego, being open to criticism, and trying to learn from anything or anyone who has insight to offer. If you're working in an office, you can pay close attention to the people who do their job well. Watch how they solve problems or communicate with others. If you're trying to learn a skill, whether it's public speaking or programming, break it down into smaller tasks. You can practice one at a time. This might involve studying how experts handle certain steps and then copying those steps until they feel natural. At first, it's a lot of repetition. It can be boring or humbling, but this stage is where growth is quietly happening. You're building a foundation so you can eventually stand out. Along the way, you will make mistakes. You might give the wrong impression in a meeting, produce poor work, or fail to deliver results on time. Greene suggests that these mistakes are priceless because they shine light on where you need to improve. Instead of treating each mistake as a sign that you're doomed, see it as feedback. Yes, it can hurt to admit you missed the mark, but that pinch of pain is temporary. The lesson, once learned, stays forever. This approach prevents you from repeating the same errors, and it keeps your mind open. Over time, you develop stronger intuition and skill. While you practice, you'll notice another challenge. You might get bored or lose motivation because the results don't come quickly. Greene says this is the moment most people give up. They think, if I had real talent, it would happen faster, or they want some big breakthrough right away. Mastery rarely works like that. The process is slow and steady. You take many small steps that might not look like much day to day, but each step adds up. If you keep going, you'll have a moment where all the bits of knowledge click together. Suddenly you see patterns and form ideas you couldn't grasp before. It's like a door opens and you discover a new room full of possibilities. That door won't open if you quit early. You need to keep going even when progress feels invisible. Another essential part of Greene's teachings is learning how to deal with pressure from other people. You might have friends who don't understand why you're putting so much effort into your new interest. Perhaps they tease you or say you should focus on something more practical. In some cases, you might face judgment from people in your own field who think you're stepping out of line by reaching further than your current role allows. Greene warns that social pressure can pull you away from your path if you let it get inside your head. Instead of trying to please everyone, you can learn to listen without letting their opinions define you. Accept that you won't make everyone happy, and that's okay. True mastery often involves going against the grain, at least a little, because you're moving into new territory. During this journey, Greene also points out the importance of observing how others work. You don't copy them blindly, but you can pick up useful strategies or mindsets. Watch how an expert handles mistakes. Notice how they organize their time or handle stress. Think about how you can apply their methods or adapt them to your own situation. By blending the best lessons from many sources, you create your own unique style. This helps you not only learn faster, but also stand out, since you aren't just imitating one person's approach. One of the most powerful shifts happens when you realize you're not in a hurry to reach the top. You're more focused on improving your craft day by day. Greene argues that by taking a calm, steady approach, you build a deeper foundation which leads to lasting success. It's the opposite of searching for shortcuts. Shortcuts might offer a burst of progress, but without a firm base, it's easy to collapse at the first major challenge. When you stay patient, you learn how to handle complex tasks, and you gain the trust of those around you. They see you as someone who can be relied on because you aren't just chasing quick wins, you're mastering the details. As time goes on, your skills become more natural. You don't need to think so hard about every step. What once took a lot of concentration feels almost second nature. This frees your mind to become more creative. Greene calls this the active or creative phase, where your knowledge is so solid that you can start bending the rules or combining techniques in new ways. This is when breakthroughs and original ideas often appear. You can't force this creative spark in the early stages because you'd lack the foundation to truly innovate. But after you've spent time in apprenticeship, it starts to happen organically. If you ever feel a sense of doubt returning, remember that feeling stuck is normal. It doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It usually means you're at another point of growth. You might have mastered the basics and now you need a new challenge to keep moving forward. That could mean taking on a more advanced project, seeking a mentor who's even further along, or branching into a related skill that builds on what you already know. The key is not to stay comfortable for too long. As soon as you sit still, you risk slipping into boredom or losing that sense of purpose. Growth involves a bit of discomfort, and Greene encourages you to see this as a good thing. You might also discover that over time, your interests expand or evolve. That's fine. Mastery doesn't mean locking yourself to one passion for life. It means you've learned the process of learning. You know how to focus, practice, and move toward deeper understanding of any field that matters to you. When you carry these principles into a new area, you'll find you can advance more quickly than before because you already have the mindset in place. You know how to deal with mistakes, how to stay patient, and how to block out harmful outside pressure. This is the real gift of mastery. It's a way of life, not just a milestone. So if you're stuck right now, think of it as a call to action rather than a dead end. Ask yourself which pursuits truly interest you, even if you haven't touched them in years. Begin your own apprenticeship, no matter your age or current stage in life. Learn from anyone who can show you something valuable. Tolerate mistakes because they teach you more than success ever could. Stay patient and trust the process even when results seem slow. Keep your eyes open to how others have walked this path, and never forget that your main goal is personal growth, not short-term wins. When you reach that level of skill where your work flows with ease, you'll see that feeling of being stuck was really just the start of something bigger. You'll have unlocked a part of yourself that's always been there, waiting for you to listen and take action. That's Robert Greene's road to mastery, and it's open to anyone who chooses to walk it.